It's a pleasure to welcome you tonight. I truly appreciate your time and effort for attending. I was going to compliment you on coming out in the bitter cold, but it's t-shirt weather, and that's because of me. So thank you. You can thank me for the weather, but I do appreciate your being here. The care and concern you have for Columbus is very evident and very important to this community. I do want to thank President Miller and Reverend Allred Dean for their welcome and the invocation, and to Elijah for his singing of the national anthem. And yes, he's only a sophomore. They all helped set the tone for tonight, and I am very grateful. I also want to thank Michelle Malimba and her team. She's the owner of Stunna's for providing tonight's refreshments. So let's give her a hand. If you haven't had her cookies, they're to die for. I want to acknowledge our City Council members and Clerk Luann Welmer and extend my appreciation for their partnership. Unfortunately, as we've seen at other levels of government, when the executive and the legislative branches don't work together, good governance doesn't happen. City administrative team members are very grateful for the relationships that we've established with our City Council members, and that allows us to set priorities and policies to do what we were elected to do, move Columbus forward. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to Bartholomew County, state and federal officials who are here tonight. Thank you for your presence and your continued partnership. And also a big thank you to the media tonight. Your role in a free society is necessary and needed. And we are, this address is also on Facebook Live, so I want to say hello to the two people watching, my sons, right? Every year I say hello and welcome them to move back to Columbus. They haven't taken me up on it yet, but. So in 2024, our word for the night was possibilities, as we celebrated what could be achieved through the adaptation of an old mall into a multi-functioning center we now call Nexus Park. And during this time last year, we highlighted gratitude as we celebrated the more than 140 community members who give their time and their talent to sit on numerous boards and commissions to make this city work. Please stand if you are a member of a board or commission, and again, accept our gratitude again for your consistent work for this community. I know there's some of you out there, so I need to get you to stand. And tonight, our word of choice is forward. It seems appropriate with the wide and varied list of projects and initiatives we've launched or are in the planning stages, many of which we will discuss tonight. As with every city, first and foremost, public safety is our priority. Earlier this year, we received our reaccreditation for the Columbus Police Department through CALEA, the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, which is the gold standard for law enforcement excellence. CALEA focuses on continuous improvement and professional delivery of public services across a wide area of law enforcement activities with a focus on policies, training, and procedures. This is a rigorous process, and only 5% of law enforcement agencies in the U.S. are CALEA accredited. Why would we commit significant resources of time and staff to this? Because our community values excellence, and having a safe environment is paramount to providing a quality of life which is attractive to residents, businesses, and industries. Excellent public safety also means having police and firefighters who are well-trained and equipped with the tools they need to do their jobs. We see this every day, but understand the value when our public safety officers are called on to perform in extraordinary circumstances. Last spring, if you remember, weather was not our friend. Bartholomew County suffered through multiple high wind events, and in April, a 10-year flood overwhelmed parts of the city, requiring swift water rescues of 35 people by the Columbus Fire Department. Overall, our swift water trained team responded to 13 unique incidents throughout the year. Watching these firefighters in action with their extensive training and commitment to saving lives makes us proud. And it underscores why the city continues to prioritize the resources necessary to attract and retain highly committed employees. Please join me in thanking all of our city and county first responders who work to make this community safe. There's a bunch of you sitting right there. And no, that doesn't mean you're going to get huge raises next year. Thanks is a form of gratitude, right? The 2024 Columbus Housing Study laid the foundation for an impactful 2025 housing year, and we attacked our housing needs using a variety of tools. We've developed a new program called PACT, Providing Affordable Construction and Transformation. Using federal funding, small local developers are incentivized to build single-family homes on infill lots. This past year, 2 homes were completed and another 8 have been approved for funding. Through our Columbus Housing Improvement Program, called CHIP, 28 homeowners were enabled to stay in their home with assistance for home repairs and improvements. In partnership with Columbus Housing Authority, 28 rental units were substantially rehabbed, which preserved much-needed affordable housing. Our planning staff is recrafting our zoning ordinances to allow flexibility and variety in housing types, which will grow options to promote infill housing. And due to the work of dedicated local housing advocates, we saw 2 affordable housing developments break ground, including Haw Creek Meadows, a 64-unit affordable housing project by Thrive Alliance, and Flats on 14th, a 110-unit affordable housing development by TWG. Work on 1020 North at 11th and Washington has begun, which will add another 120 units of variable sizes, and Taylor Uptown along Washington Street will start later this year, adding another 53 units. And as we continue to implement the Columbus Downtown 2030 recommendations, we will add more housing across the spectrum. But I really want to share the biggest housing success we had this last year, which was a community-wide effort to relocate 100 households from the villas apartments to new residences. When community housing agencies, United Way, Human Services, Columbus Housing Authority, the city, and others learned of this need, they collaborated to find affordable and accessible housing for all the tenants, most of whom are low-income, elderly, or disabled. This was a huge challenge, but successful, as all tenants were rehoused. I'm going to say that again. All tenants were rehoused, and most of them were able to stay local because that's where they wanted to live. A special shout out to our local landlords who stepped up to the plate and worked with the agencies as they recognized the need. Having adequate housing is a basic need, and without it, people can't participate in their community in the ways they want to. And some can't even afford to live here. This will continue to be a priority for the city, and we have a lot of partners working with us to move this forward. Over the past decade, the problems of addiction and the mental health crisis in the United States have exacerbated the difficulty of dealing with homelessness. Our community continues to show extraordinary compassion in helping those in need, as individuals, churches, and businesses engage in public and private efforts to alleviate these problems. In 2025, a homeless task force was created, which includes United Way staff members, city code enforcement, Department of Public Works, Parks and Recreation, Animal Care, and police officers. They meet frequently to assess current needs and collaborate on solutions. United Way has taken the lead, partnering with the city and multiple social service agencies to address the needs identified and work with each individual. Their goal is to make homelessness rare, brief, and non-reoccurring. And Mark Stewart, and I've seen him here somewhere. Where are you, Mark? Raise your hand. There he is, hiding over there. Mark Stewart and his team have had remarkable success as they worked with 328 individuals. They were able to house 136 individuals and assist 203 of those people get jobs or increase their income. 237 individuals were able to get medical insurance, which, as we all know, is a key element in stability. And perhaps the most critical, they helped prevent 192 people from losing their homes to begin with, which stabilizes families and prevents the trauma of losing your home. As I said last year, this is a complex problem that will not be solved quickly. I'm so grateful to the United Way team and others throughout the community who've worked to get us this far, and we will continue to prioritize this issue. So thank you to United Way. In 2024, I stood here and told you that our transit system, while functional, was designed for a different era. I promised we would look holistically at how to serve a growing senior population and a changing workforce. We've spent the last 2 years listening to you. Through our transit study, we learned that while you love our friendly drivers and our clean buses, you also need access to major employment hubs like Wellsboro and retail centers in Taylorsville, along with point-to-point flexibility similar to an Uber or Lyft. Tonight, I'm proud to say we are no longer just planning, but we're ready to deliver. In March, we will launch our brand new loop system. These new loops are designed to be more intuitive, moving us toward a modern, efficient network that gets you where you need to go faster. And beginning in April, we officially extend our reach, connecting Wellsboro and Taylorsville to our network. This is a significant win for economic development, linking our residents directly to the dense employment and retail opportunities they've been asking for. And later this summer, we will begin piloting demand response microtransit. This is our version of a city-run rideshare, which is hard to say, providing a fee-based point-to-point service to connect customers and communities. To continue moving forward, we are adopting an iterative improvement strategy to further fine-tune our services, ensuring that as our community changes, our transit system will evolve with it. But I do want to recognize the heart of this system, our people. We have 37 dedicated team members who provided over 242,000 trips last year, a 6.5% increase over 2024. These drivers don't just operate machinery, they care for our neighbors. This was again demonstrated during the recent water main break that stranded 19 adults and 6 children. Columbus Transit responded to the need and safely evacuated the group, and that is the spirit of Columbus. And speaking of transportation, last fall we had the groundbreaking of the new 129-foot airport tower. Designed by Marlin Blackwell Associates, we are grateful to the Cummins Foundation funding, which allows this unique architectural structure to be both beautiful and functional. While Columbus is proud of our design legacy, this new tower is critical to maintaining the safety and operational excellence of the Columbus Municipal Airport for our commercial, private, and military customers and pilots. We realize the important role this airport plays in the regional economy and place the highest value on providing safe and quality service for our community. Construction of this much-needed tower supports this important mission. Okay. A dog walks into a bar and asks for a job. The bartender says, "Wow, a talking dog. You should be in the circus." The dog replied, "Why would a circus need a bartender?" Okay, you got it better than my husband did. This is AI at its best, right? No, we do not have talking dogs, but unfortunately, we have a shelter overflowing with dogs, cats, and occasional ferrets, pigs, alligators, birds, and odd reptiles. As we've talked for several years, the city's shelter was built in the 1980s and cannot accommodate current demand. Our shelter is in dire straits, and we've had to band-aid it over the past few years just to keep animals safely housed. The work environment for employees is even tougher, with overcrowding, heating and cooling issues, an unhealthy workspace, a horrible smell, and increasing costs to repair or jerry-rig the space. In Columbus, we have a highly engaged and active public involved in the care of animals in our community. And thanks to their energy, passion, and consistent advocacy, and I will never mention the word nagging, later this spring, we will break ground on the Wendy H. Elwood Animal Care Services Center. This endeavor is truly a community-wide cause for which we'll use city funds, state ready dollars, and private donations. We plan to build a new state-of-the-art facility that addresses these challenges using best practices for animal care and placement. We're very fortunate to have committed donors like Wendy and Mark Elwood, who've pledged and challenged others to build a shelter which honors the importance this community places in caring for our vulnerable friends. Can I have some applause for our donors? In 2024, we took the steps to rethink our downtown by kicking off the Columbus Downtown 2030 study, which was successfully completed this past summer. 3 key questions were identified. How do we build a downtown where people want to be? What's the best use of the spaces in our downtown? And where and what are the gaps that prevent us from being the best downtown for residents, tourists, and businesses? We designed an actionable plan, and one that includes ideas, designs, wish lists, must-haves, and wouldn't it be great if concepts from community members. The results from our designer Sasaki had 50 recommendations, but in true Columbus fashion, we added our own and are up to 61. We now have 3 action teams made up of 40-plus community volunteers who are focused around activating Washington 4th and 5th Streets, creating a strong connection to Millrace Park, redeveloping important downtown sites such as the Crump and former Sears building, enhancing pedestrian experience, and increasing downtown housing options. We're prioritizing short-term implementation while working on the long-term projects with the highest potential impact. Hopefully, you've had a chance to enjoy one of our winter markets set up in the former Sears building, which is a pilot project from the plan. The final market will be held this coming Saturday, and by the excitement, attendance, and fun, we see that our community clearly desires an enhanced downtown experience. According to Thomas Edison, every wrong attempt discarded is another step forward. And this past year, we pivoted on our riverfront, and we now have the momentum to complete this long-awaited and much-debated project with safety and environmental critical improvements. Work has begun stabilizing and re-landscaping the banks, and you've probably noticed that. Invasive trees were removed and will be replaced with native plantings that are more sustainable and durable. The People Trail connection will be completed from Millrace Park to Water Street. A plaza added west of Upland Brewery, and the Lowhead Dam will be removed later this year. I want to give special thanks to the team who has been working on this project since at least 2016. Your perseverance is appreciated. Social media blows up quite frequently about the riverfront, and it's hard to explain the many challenges. Molasses-like regulatory agencies, COVID stoppages, and extraordinary increases in material costs. But our primary focus has never changed, taking care of the safety issues. And later this year, we are going to have a huge party to celebrate the completion. I see Randy out there, right? All right, some of my family's favorite books and movie series are Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. Who's read or seen it, right? All right, yeah. But what's there not to like? There's a wizard, there's elves, there's ents, which are talking trees, there's ringwraiths, there's hobbits, there's orcs, an evil sorcerer, incredible music, incredible landscapes, and of course, a mystical, romantic quest to destroy the One Ring in Mordor. Although an old-fashioned word, a quest is a journey with a specific mission in mind. It can be long and arduous, but it is undertaken with purpose and intent. Last year, we introduced the visioning process that began in 2023, initiated by a group of forward-thinking citizens who recognized the next 25 years will bring many changes. We need to react, respond, and plan for those changes, and how we do reflects the values we have as a community. The visioning process, christened Quest, Building the Best City in America, was launched in 2025, and people throughout the city have been engaged over the past year, shaping its path forward. I'd now like to introduce Srikanth Padmanabhan, one of Quest leaders, to share the goals and next steps for this initiative.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for the introduction. It is 35 years since I first came to Columbus. I came here because of Cummins. I did not know when I arrived in 1991 about the intentional nature of this city. Nor did I know about J.I. Miller's 1964 speech at Otter Creek to challenge and help us become the best city of our size. This was about the same time that John F. Kennedy addressed Congress in 1962 saying, "We will put a man on the moon and bring him back safely before the end of the decade." Indeed, that became our nation's moonshot, and we landed on the moon in July 1969. 60 years have passed since J.I. Miller's captivating vision for us. We've done very well on so many fronts in the city, and my wife, Usha, and I are proud to call this our home. We are routinely recognized as a top city for living. In fact, in the latest USA News and World Report of the top 250 cities in USA, we were listed as one of the top 5 cities in Indiana and in the top 100 in the country. Columbus has always delivered. And yet we still have immense potential. I'm here tonight representing a group of civic and business leaders committed to Columbus and working on a plan to follow through on this forward momentum and intentionally plan for the next 25 years. Not only to ensure we can realize the potential that we have, but so that when we look back in 2050, we can say we are proud of our accomplishments and our thriving community, not just for us, but more importantly, for our kids and grandkids. Over the last 2 years, we have deliberated on this, actively listened to the community, and come up with the early stages of a compelling plan. This is not a plan just to involve few at City Hall, but invite every single individual in our community to engage and shape our future. We call this our moonshot. We call this our North Star of the future, our quest. So what is our quest? Building America's best community, period. To achieve this quest, we know we must get a few things right. Your input has helped us distill from the variety of quality of life indices to 5 big things. This has become our quest framework. I often talk in metaphors, and the metaphor that I talk about for this framework is building a cathedral. Cathedrals always take time to build. The supporting columns matter. The structure of the foundation matters. Every brick and its connecting mortar counts. When done well, cathedrals stand the test of time for generations to come, so that everyone is proud of what has happened. This is our work. If I could ask Jessica to just get to the next slide. So this quest that we talk about, which is building America's best community, the first column in our plan is economic vitality. The best economy needs to work for everyone. It needs to attract new businesses, supporting existing businesses, and most importantly, it must help people who work in these businesses to thrive. The second column is education and talent. The community that provides the best education and upward mobility opportunities for all throughout our lives is the best community. The third column is a sense of place. After all, the best place is one where you feel you belong. From what we have heard from all of you, that means for Columbus, we have a thriving arts and downtown, a vibrant arts and culture. In our community, you have things to do, and you're proud to bring your friends and family to show off all that we offer. Then we come to the foundation, the most critical piece on which everything else rests. For Columbus to be a community for all, it has to be a place where we exceed our fundamental needs like safety, health, housing, and childcare for all. This is essential. Without this, others will not matter. The final piece of this plan is the connective mortar that exemplifies our community. This is civic leadership, wherein every individual takes responsibility and accountability. This helps us become a better collective. We are exceptional at this already, and it remains important that we continue to lead in this in the future. Within this framework, I would say, Columbus is the absolute best in some areas, good in many, and has room to grow in a few, and therein lies our work. Our quest is building this cathedral. I, for one, am excited for Columbus. The future is indeed bright. We invite each one of you to join on the quest and be part of this community cathedral building process. Thank you.
So thank you to Srikanth and many other of the community leaders around Quest. Hopefully you've heard, this isn't the first time that you've heard about Quest, and you'll continue to hear more over the next couple of years. Tonight we've touched on city priorities, which, due to cost and scope, get a lot of attention. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention other projects and initiatives where we spend time and energy to positively impact city services. These include relocation of our Department of Public Works facility from Kreutzer Drive to Arcadia Drive to improve employee work environment, protect equipment more effectively, and enhance efficiency. We'll be updating our master plans for both Donner Center and Millrace Park to reflect our desired park needs for the next generation. And improvements on 2nd Street downtown have started and will continue to slow traffic and increase safety for pedestrians. Now I want to recognize Columbus City employees. At last count, we have 465 full-time and about 330 seasonal and part-time employees who support 18 city departments. They make Columbus work. They do it proudly and not without sacrifice at times, as we've seen these past weeks with weather events. Please join me tonight in giving special thanks to our employees at the Department of Public Works, Columbus City Utilities, Columbus Fire Department, Columbus Police Department, Parks and Recreation, Transportation, Animal Care, the Bartholomew County Highway and Sheriff's Departments for their extraordinary work during the recent 20-year snowstorm and subsequent cleanup. And no, they didn't let me drive a plow, but the next 20-year snowstorm, I've been assured I'll be able to. Finally, which is the word you've all been waiting to hear, right? Finally, to make things official, the state of our city is strong. We're fortunate to have substantial resources to provide high-quality services, respond to unexpected challenges from state and federal actions, take on bad weather, celebrate successes, and take care of each other when the times get tough. We have a strong history of partnerships, recognition of opportunities, and our willingness to take risks to lean into challenges. I'm most proud of this city when a call for help is made and the response is automatic. Here we are. How can we help? And what can we do to improve the situation? This year, we're celebrating our nation's 250th birthday, and we've got some fun events planned. But what we are commemorating, the government created 250 years ago, was, in President George Washington's words, a great experiment. Self-governance was new and untried, and our founders understood the fragility of trying to piece together diverse views, to allow freedom for the individual without impinging on the rights of others. I believe the people in Columbus strive to uphold the best ideals of our nation, and that will always be our primary strength. Thank you and good night.